Recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our special edition of discussion related to the record of employment, which was signed for public servants who were placed on leave without pay for non-compliance, for not complying with vaccination mandate. And I will start right away with the evidence which we have gathered so far. We now know that many record of employments for people who were placed on administrative leave were signed by the same person, Krista Husty. Very interesting. So Krista Husty, we talked about that in our Q&A with Matthew just before Christmas when we had our third episode recorded. And I just chosen a couple of record of employment where we didn't look who signed the RO. We just looked into the section 18, which says leave as code M. And everyone knows in this business that code M is abbreviation for misconduct. On the other hand, we know that people who were placed on leave without pay for not complying with vaccination status, they were put on leave for administrative purpose. Administrative, and it could be anything related to maybe resizing or some other administration measures. It has nothing to do with misconduct of individuals. However, it still was recorded as code M. For some of them, it was coded M directly in section 16. And for some of them in section 18, please treat as code M. And I'll just quickly go through this. I have a bunch of them. I have over 20 of them. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, after our last interview with Matthew, I have just sent invitation to ask questions and to submit the request, the ROE, record of employment, to different groups. And I got swamped by responses. But the problem is that I got responses sometimes by Signal, Telegram, direct messages, Facebook, groups, and sometimes by email. So if you want to send anything to me, the only good way to reach me is email. So everyone who has anything to say or to send, please use my email, which will be provided, of course, in the article, because I cannot follow all different social platforms. So here we go. Very quickly, we have multiple examples here of people who have been put on leave without pay, and all of them were Krista Husty by the way, on different dates. Some of them were in November 2021, some of them in February 2022, some of them are from Ottawa, some of them are from Victoria, from different departments, different agencies. All of them are signed by Krista Husty. Again, we cannot claim it's the only person. We even don't know whether it is the person. Maybe it is a robot, Krista Husty. Maybe they have automated the process altogether right now. We do not know. However, at the same time, we do know that Krista Husty exists because some of the concerned members actually looked into the Government of Canada directory and found her name in the Government of Canada. So there is such a person, she, he, or they, who exists there and who signed hundreds, I don't know, maybe thousands of record of employment. And now let's look into something very, very important here. Look, this section 22 says, I'm aware that it is offense, like legal offense, to knowingly make false entries and hereby certify that all statements on this form are true. all statements are true, including the one that reason of suspension or reason of separation is M, which is just abbreviation for misconduct. So what we know, Krista Hasti signed with her personal name that it is true that the reason of separation is to be treated as code M for misconduct. So she now is formally liable for falsifying record of employment for hundreds, potentially thousands, I almost said millions, but many public servants all across Canada. So what is interesting? It's not her manager, it's not her director, it's not her advisor or whoever instructed her to act illegally, because this is illegal, this is offense, this is criminal, I don't know, criminal or legal offense.
Criminal. Section 398 of the Criminal Code.
Here you go.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Matthew. So it's a criminal offense, right? And very, very smartly and proactively, the only person who can we go after this criminal offense is not the minister, not director, not the advisor, not anyone who gave her instructions to sign, but it's this poor person, Krista Hasti. And again, in fact, for one of my projects in the agency, I'm working to automate the process of filling out the forms. So I know it's very easy right now to automate the process. You don't need anyone to actually sign. You can create a robot and it will sign it for you. So I even wonder myself whether it was a real person who was signing, or maybe they have automated it and used her name. We don't know that, but maybe one of the things we could do, we can file a tip, access to information, and really find out whether she personally signed, whether she has seen the information, or whether it was automated process who just used her name and she has not seen it. Either way, her name appears here, so she is legally responsible for falsifying the reason of separation here. So we have here quite a few people who have joined us for this extraordinary follow-up session with Matthew. And over Christmas breaks, I was really putting it together as article here. Okay, for my Substack, where I talk about the issues which are of importance for all members of my union, but also for all Government of Canada employees and all Canadians, because it's not only Government employees who have fall victims of this falsifying of very important information. Because let us recall that falsification, it was not just a single letter. It's not a typo. It was a mark like David Starr in Nazi times, meaning remove this person from any sources of income. Do not allow them or this person to get any AI benefits for anything. So all those 100 or 1,000 people who get their ROE falsified by Krista Hasti, none of them were able to receive anything from employment insurance, for which they paid for many, many years. So they were treated really as criminals who have committed misconduct. And this is why Matthew has taken his time and diligence to dig into this process, because it seems like this system was built in such a way that particular human, has no role to play. It was fully automated. Krista Hasti may only be a nickname for a robot. We don't know. Or if it was a human, because then she could go to jail potentially. We don't know. Maybe it's not her. Maybe her, whoever instructed her. So we have only 9 minutes left here, but please put your questions here in the chat. We will go through with Matthew through all those questions here. And Matthew, do you want to add anything here? I know you had a chance to look into this article, which I'm showing to you. Oh, I forgot very important thing. Very important thing. So we talked about evidence number one, that all of these hundreds of ROE were assigned by same person who works in this in Public Service Procurement Canada. She has nothing to do with the D&D, Transport Canada, Parks Canada, and all other departments who actually where those individuals worked. But most importantly, some members actually went to the Service Canada portal to get the ROE, and you will see there is this message there that they have re-examined in June when mandates were suspended. Re-examined claim you no longer consider that you have lost your employment due to your misconduct. Determined that no misconduct was involved. So this is written on official Service Canada printout for this member, and it must be the case for all other 1,000 members who have been placed on leave without pay for non-compliance with vaccination mandate. So what we have here, we have another evidence that it is admitted that this was not a misconduct. Even more, I have letters from employers, from directors, and I put it in my previous article and on the portal. On the portal, I have a dedicated page to this case study, which we're investigating here. The director wrote explicitly, it's administrative measure. It has nothing to do with misconduct or bad behavior or nothing. So, so what do we have here? On one side, clearly administrative leave of without pay. On the other hand, they were treated according to the reason of separation marked as M misconduct. So violating the criminal code of Canada. And I asked ChatGPT over Christmas, okay, what are potential steps to seek for vindication? So this article is called, and what affected members can do to seek vindication, justice, so that the ROE is reversed to administrative, just as it is written here, no misconduct. So our ROE must not have letter M there. They must not be treated as code M. So all people who have received a letter M should first go to Service Canada, get this printout for themselves. If they don't have this message, then contact Service Canada and get this confirmation that this is no misconduct, and then go after your employer, and eventually after Christy, what was what's her name? Christy Hasty, and seek for vindication. The record of employment should be corrected, and you should get all your employment insurance back for all months that you deserved. So these were the recommendations from ChatGPT. The records or the references are here. Matthew will provide a few more records or references, and we will go through all your questions. Now we have quite a few of those, and maybe we will have another session when we will just answer all your questions. As always, this is not legal advice, but it's opportunity for you to express your concerns and opportunity for me to help you, and to help you, to help the union to help you. Because see, the problem is that union has done nothing to help those members. They essentially abandoned those members altogether. And that's why I was running for vice president position last year. And I will be running again for vice president position or any other administrative position, executive position within the union, because members need support from the union. They're paying for the union. They assume the union would help them in such a dire straight situations like this one. They lost all sources of income, and union was not helping them to seek for the justice. They were discouraging them even to grieve against these suspensions, right? So in appendix here, we have put references. I will also provide instructions on how you can get your ROE from Service Canada, and also what you could do to seek for justice and to get your lawful, your earned employment insurance benefits back. Matthew, we still have a few questions, or a few minutes, I think. So you could...
Could I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So I did appeal my denial, and it was denied again. And I'm wondering, like, by us going to our employer and asking them to reconsider the reason for the reason for them letting us go on this leave, how can we start that process? Like, I did ask for all my records. I did a FOI request to Service Canada to get all my EI records. And I searched through all that, and it's just the typical generic answer that they gave of the reason, which is the misconduct thing. So how, if I want to change this reason, how is the process started? Do I have to go to my immediate employer?
Okay, that's a very good question. I opened the page here on my portal. Please go there and see the response from the director for one of the members. He specifically says that they received instructions. I will put a link to this page here as well. They put instructions. They were given instructions. All employees were instructed by Employment and Social Development Canada to use code M on regards of employment for all members suspended for not complying with mandatory vaccination policy. Right? So they were instructed. Everyone was instructed to write code M, and so that no one is responsible. This director is not responsible. He was instructed. And I was using this analogy of a Nazi German clerk who was signing like a star for a person. He was instructed, like a name sounds like Jewish, let's put a sign there. So that, whatever, I was instructed. So it's, of course, it's very strong comparison, and I'm not very eloquent in how to phrase it properly, but Matthew, I'm sure you can phrase it in a better way.
Yes. I think because there's only 1 minute left, I would rather wait until the next one, because I don't want to get cut off in the middle of an important question.
Okay, so we'll finish at this point that indeed everyone was instructed. Directors were instructed. This clerk was instructed. So no one is responsible. No one is liable. That's not how the democracy works, and it's up to us to get the democracy back and justice back. So we will look into your questions. Please send them directly to me, dmitrygorodnichi@gmail.com, and we will do our best with Matthew to help all of you to get justice to your case and to get at least employment insurance benefits for the months when you were not paid. I know it was very hard time for many of you. Many of you had to pay for your mortgages, for your children, for your families. It's unbelievable. It has happened in Canada. I came from Ukraine, and I was saying